Hello everybody, welcome back to today's stream in the Cessna Citation X. So we had in a fantastic week so far, and we are of course looking forward to this flight. This is going to be a great flight, no issues at all planned like last time. Planning up to 39,000 feet surprisingly, and no icing en route, so we should be alright. Estimated flight time is 2 hours in total, that gives us half an hour for startup. 1 hour 30 minutes for actual air time. So departing from Vorkuta to Ekaterinburg in the Russian Siberian Express route, Trans-Siberian Express. After we arrive in Ekaterinburg, the next stream will be to Chelyabinsk. So the next one will be very, very short compared to this long flight. Today we have 8 passengers on board, so welcome. And I've lowered I've limited the frame rate since last time, so we don't get any stream issues, we don't get any lag. Hopefully everything runs smoothly. Now I've limited it. So yeah, let's hop in the aircraft. Today the flight plan's been downloaded as usual. I've got the PDF open as well, so we can see and I can share with you the flight plan, so we can look at the fuel quantity, we can look at predicted weather, etc., QNH, ILS frequencies together, so that'd be nice. Today VATSIM, of course, we'll have to see how that goes. We don't have much luck with the VATSIM community at the moment, especially in this, I'd say, more remote part of the world. So what I'm going to do is going to do the standard startup. Since the passengers on board, I will leave the door open for now, but we'll close it momentarily. So last time I did it with the yoke in place, I'm going to make it disappear this time, just to save the pain of having to move it out of the way. So what we do, and I've been doing this wrong apparently, so you put the emergency lights on, test standby power, and then you can stick standby power on or something like that, and then batteries and avionics and ICAS, or maybe just ICAS if you're that way inclined, but usually it's fine to stick on. I'm going to stick passenger oxygen to auto already. Emergency lights on for the time being. I don't really change this control wing thing until the engine starts, and I've never noticed any issues. You can of course mute those warnings there if you want to. So if you wanted to, you can start the initialization before we even get the APU running, but my practice at least is to get the APU running, make sure the aircraft is warming up before we get going. So flight level 390, which is 39,000 feet. Current estimated fuel burn is 2.7 tons, so 2,751 kilograms. I think that means 2.7 tons. You'll have to correct me if it doesn't. 8 passengers, 200 kg of cargo. QNH for this area is 1009, so pretty cold. You can see the outside air temperature is -6, so it is indeed very, very cold. So ready to load generator. Let's do that. Let's get the cabin packs on and the bleed air from the engine is prepared. For engine start, I'm going to set pressurization level now, just so I don't forget. I'll set about 40,000, just below 40,000 it seems, or just on the spot, which is fine. So I tend to adjust the cabin temperature as well. 22 degrees is, in my opinion, way too warm. It might be cold outside, but you're better off with something like 18 degrees. It's a bit more comfortable, it's not going to leave you sweaty and clammy. Okay, so we've done that, we've done the basic initiation of the aircraft, or startup. You could put emergency lights to arm now. There's no obligation to keep them on. All it does as well is obviously emergency lights, and it turns the exit lights on, so just be aware of that. Master switch can come on as well if you want. It just drains a bit more of the battery power. Now it is a cold one outside, so we're going to stick, sorry, not collision lights, navigation lights, and we'll get the initialization started. I wish, one thing in the Citation X actually, which I love the aircraft, I think it's great, but the ignition is always on to normal when it should be off. Especially if you're cold and dark state, you wouldn't expect to find it in any position other than off. So position initialization, so we take GPS 1. Load that in, so you can see it's given the origin. Now I have got the flight plan downloaded, as you can see. Uniform Yankee Whiskey to Uniform Sierra Sierra Sierra. Don't worry about the AIRAC thing. Activate that. Now today's departures are Boss 1 Alpha for runway 8. If you remember from last stream, aside from the lag, we had a ramp on the runway. Now it's the daytime, you can actually see. I'm just going to make sure we have got the correct date and time on. Checking real world time and real world weather. So yeah, a ramp in the middle of the runway. As you can see there's something going on with the terrain and the scenery in this area. I don't know. Maybe X-Plane department didn't think anyone would fly out here, but they do. You've got some planes at the back there as well. So the next step, we're going to check this. So Abos 1 Alpha departure. So we got Abos. So a simple way to do it is just click departure. So it's not selected it as I suspected. So we'll activate that. Make sure there's no brakes in it. So you got U there. I don't know if that's the arrival. The arrival is a Beg 6 Mike arrival. That might be that. It's just not programmed it incorrectly. So, like as I say, it was downloaded from SimBrief. So, right runway 26 right. It has given us a standard arrival procedure. We just need to select the ILS. So, I won't select it yet. I'm not too sure what it'll be when we get there. So, that's the initialization done. Let's just go for the flight plan together. So, I can recap so we know how much weights and things we've got on board to change. So turn it on for you. So there's the flight plan. You should be able to see that now on the upper left. Standard flight plan, it seems, for most flights. So tail number, the date of course, the destination, arrival destination, the type of aircraft, the release number, the another date there. So it's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. You can see it. The information is in front. If you don't understand anything, please do ask me in the chat. Okay, I need to check the weight and balance. So fuel 2.7, so we want the iOS open, we want the instructor operating system open. We want to change the weight and balance to match what we have in the flight plan. So 2751 for fuel. Let's just do 2760 roughly, and that should give us that fuel. And then weight, so 8 people on board, so that's 2 pilots, check, 4 people in the first compartment of the first section, and then another 2 in the back. Estimating the weight there, I don't actually know their weight, I don't know how heavy they are. We assume like a base weight of about 170 pounds for the Americans, as in the metric system, and then that'll be whatever it is in the kg. So going back to the fuel plan, the plan, I've already been through this myself just to become familiar with what we're doing. So of course here's the routing that we're going to be taking, of course the Bosa 1 Alpha departure and all the waypoints and airways, and then the Begma 6 Mike arrival to 26 right at Ekaterinburg. So scroll down, I'll explain some of this. This is all the total weights and things. We do need cargo in actually. We got 200 kg, as you can see there, of cargo. I won't put it in the back, I'll stick it in about there. That's quite a lot of cargo for the people, to be honest. I thought they would be travelling a little bit lighter. So that's the weight and balance done. Okay, going down. We can see, a stabilizer trim option there, but it won't come up. Central gravity and things there. So scroll down a little bit more to the lower part of the flight plan. It should come up with departure. You file this part with the ATC. In my case, it's VATSIM. And I came down here before to takeoff data. It's a little bit different than standard. We need 15 degrees of flaps. I've seen the QNH is 1009, so it's right here, PQNH 1009. I have the ILS frequency already in case we have to do a go round to the runway. Turn back to the runway, and the ILS frequencies are relatively easy to find. As you can see here, we've got the ILS there. I think that might be the landing ILS. We'll have to check on the system in a second. So yeah, this is the takeoff. It's saying 15 degrees of flaps. It gives you like an estimated V1 speed. So we'll see how close this is to the actual takeoff speed in the FMC in a sec. Just just give me a sec. It's a dry runway, so calm wind. So it's saying 116 for the V1, 119 VR, and then 129 for V2. So let's see how accurate that actually turns out to be with 15 degrees of flaps. And then QNH at landing zone is 0997. Now it's saying full maximum braking before, so I suspect it's saying wet runway as well. I suspect it's a short runway than what we're used to. If we look at the runway length, I mean it is quite. It's well, it's I don't know, it's normal, but maybe it's because it's wet, it's pushing it a little bit too far. So that's pretty much it. We don't need to bother about anything else. Obviously, if you're doing the flight, you need to check all this information and make sure, like bird strikes, check if there's bird strikes, check if there's any taxiways in closure, like here, got closed areas, and it'll tell you on the runway and things if you're allowed to turn off high-speed exits, etc. You can flick through that. There's a lot of information there that it's probably because we're flying in Russia, so this is all there, so we're not technically allowed to fly there, so I'll go ahead and close. I'll minimise that, and I'll close it on the stream so you don't have to look at it. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I think it's gone off. There we go. Now that's off, we can start to call the ATC. So we tuned 122.8 on the backup frequency just in case there's nobody online. Call sign today is Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. I usually use that call sign in the citation. If you're familiar with the channel already, of course, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Okay. Nobody on frequency, so there's nobody in the range. Let's just check on the map. So there's no other aircraft either. A little bit disappointing. So we might as well just go ahead and clear ourselves to Ekaterinburg. Get the fuel on. Let's close the door. The door is closed. I have run through some of these tests. You can do it yourself as well, like this. Of course, the enunciation is probably the most important, one of the most important tests to identify issues. So we stick our beacons on. No need for the engine to sync. What level is it? It's 390, so we'll go ahead and program that onto there. And I'll have to change the FMC in a second. 39,000 feet. Form initialization. Now we saw the weight and balance we can do. Transition altitude. Let's go ahead and put 10,000 because we don't know it. And then 390 for the cruise. So it passed that pretty quickly. Takeoff, let's see how accurate the speeds are. We want 15 degrees of flaps. Can't actually change that. The flight plan did say 15, but we're not allowed to edit it for some reason. Okay, so the V-speeds are different. Climb, cruise, descent, and of course landing. 128. Initialization is complete. Let's get the engines unlocked. Test the parking brake. You can switch the auxiliary pumps on there to make the job a little bit easier. Now in this aircraft you feel free to start both engines at once. It has enough power for the APU to do so, and it does so pretty quickly. Generators. I'm going to stick engine heat on. We don't want the ice build up before we've departed. The pressure's built up pretty quick. Turn the auxiliary pump off. Okay, normal ignition. So successful engine start and engine number 1 and 2. Select your damper. Navigation. Vertical navigation and lateral navigation, so it's a smooth departure, I think. Bleed air is on. Let's turn the APU off. There we go, just give it a second to cool down. And there it goes. So generator off. Let's switch off. Open that valve. We'll close that valve, my mistake. And then we'll just leave that as it is. Cockpit's actually quite cold. It's saying 18 degrees in the cabin. Cockpit 9 degrees. Keep an eye on that just in case there's something wrong with the air duct system. So engine heat is on. That's it. Pretty much good to go. Taxi lights. Yeah, flight control check. Let's get ailerons, elevators, rudder. Let's do 5 degrees of flaps. I'm hoping we could take off before we hit this bump in the runway. Otherwise we're going to end up crashing. Probably shear the wings off and the landing gear, so we're clear. Clear to taxi out. 122.8 is the Unicom. Straight out departure here, straight out taxi onto the runway via Alpha. Runway 8. In terms of issues when we take off, just going to brief you as if I was briefing a co-pilot or being briefed by a captain. So we make a standard left-hand turn, we'll join downwind, and then we will come in to land as a circuit. The height will be 2,000 feet. Vorkuta traffic, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. I'm taxiing through Alpha onto runway 08 for takeoff. Gotta make sure this is clear. This is the only active, this is the only runway in the airport, unfortunately, so we have to take extra care. There's only one taxiway onto it as well, which is making it even more difficult. Just to show you, we are indeed at Vorkuta. So yeah, better off going all the way to the end and we'll make a U-turn back onto the runway. The strobe lights can come on. Very fast taxi, and surprised we're going so fast actually. We've only got a little bit of thrust in there. It just shows how uneven the runway is, to be honest. So we'll try and make this a quick departure, no messing around. So landing lights on, taxi lights off, ignition continuous, boost pumps, ready for departure. So we'll give them a call. Vorkuta traffic, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango, taking off runway 08. Now, wish me luck on this. This really is bumpy. I've never encountered a runway like this, and there's a massive drop. We never saw that when we landed because it was so dark. But there's like a literal sheer drop at the end of the runway there as well. We are right on the edge of a cliff. Yeah, absolutely brutal. Brutal airport. Okay, toga, take off. Take off, go around switch. Advance thrust. This is takeoff setting. Very, very bumpy. There's V1. Oh, rotate. See, I'm glad we took off early there. We would have crashed. We would have literally crashed. We literally hit a hump in the blooming runway. So gear up, just about. So thrust should reduce in a second to climb on its own. Wind will turn out to the right. And this will be a heading south towards Ekaterinburg. Okay, it's not reduced this, we'll reduce it ourselves. It's climb setting. Flaps up. Keep the slats down until we reach a high speed. Probably 240. Okay, slats up. Have to take off checklist. So ignition normal. Ignition normal and fuel boost normal. Transponder is not on. Altitude, just select a random code in there as well. Landing lights off. Turbine to sync. And just trim. When we pass 10,000 feet, the autopilot's going to be engaged. We'll allow the plane to fly itself. You get Ekaterinburg, but you can just see already at this temperature, we're already at -12 at this height. So we're going to have to sit down to the ice in early. Just double check on the co-pilot side that the pressurization is indeed happening, as you can see there. So we can start increasing that pressure in the aircraft now a little bit more. Now we're passing through 8,000 feet. You should notice it go up on this dial as well. So autopilot's coming on. Nice and smooth transition there. Nothing really to complain about. Takeoff is pretty good. We're going up to 390. We'll select FMS on the thing. A few things have been forgotten, I'm not going to lie. I have forgotten a few basics, but I think that's just because it happens occasionally when you're on your own, you know. A lot of workload for a pilot, especially if they're flying it on their own, and it is it's a multi-crew aircraft, so you would expect obviously 2 people to be doing the tasks. Cockpit's warmed up now, and cabin's nice and warm as well, so you don't have to worry about the guests. Cabin pressure is indeed increasing. This is about 4,000 feet now, and it probably reach like a maximum of 7,000 or 8,000 in the cabin when we get to cruising altitude. Looking at the big dial there, looking at the big lever, to about 7,000 or 8,000, which is standard for most aircraft. And actually, so far, turning that frame rate down, limiting it to 60 FPS is actually good. It's not causing any lag. As you can see on the upper left, it's been stagnated at 60, which is ideal. I don't think we need more than 60 for the streams. It seems to come out quite smooth at that FPS. back in the standard red, gold, and black colours. Like, you think it gives it a much more professional look, a much more executive look, which matches the interior as well. Got a little bit of a cream and a brown in here, or hazelnut colour, almost red, maroon, possibly hazelnut. I don't know what colour that is specifically, but it looks very nice. Of course, the wooden interior. So yeah, it matches this very well. Screens haven't come on. We have got master switch on. When it goes a bit darker, usually it comes on automatic. Anyway, I'm going to step away from the cockpit for a moment. Get guests and passengers free to move about while I have a quick break on the climb. Absolutely safe to do so. Please feel free to use the restrooms. For entertainment purposes, I'm going to put one of the guests stood at the cockpit door watching the pilots, making sure his money is well spent. Hello everybody. Feel free to ask questions. Let me know what your favourite plane is. Let me know what route you've flown, if you're a sim pilot or a real pilot. Let me know what you think of X-Plane 12. Is it this amazing flight simulator everybody's talking about? Is it the next generation? Is it better or worse than Microsoft Flight Simulator? No doubt that would cause some tension in the chat. So we already departed pretty quickly, half an hour into the stream. Estimated flight time in the air was 1 hour 30 minutes, so we're actually on schedule. Amazing view though. In terms of altitude, we just passed 300, 30,000 feet, en route for 39,000. Top of climb after Kamny. You can see it from flight plan, it's very big. I think it's bigger than the last route we did from Archangels to Vorkuta. Never gonna forget the airport's layout and the shape though, that's one of a kind. So let's just have a run through the flight plan. Kamny, Odnes, Kitas, Rekni, Videa, Netur, Netja, Taled, Ligri, Makin, Insudi, Uniso, Albany, Gitet, Trudny, Sounds very strange to say it out loud. These waypoints. But these are the waypoints. I'm not sure what the U is. I'm a little bit confused about the U. I'm not going to lie, that looks out of place. They say 2,900 feet. We don't even have to descend till we get to this point. And then we're sort of rapidly descending down to 23,000, well 31,000, 23,000, 19,000 until and then 8,000, and final height is probably, so it's saying 2,900. Let's just say that's the final approach height, and then there should be an go around there selected at some point. 38,700 feet has been passed. So we're about 39,000 feet. We're actually maintaining a really good rate of ascent there. We were climbing about 1,500 feet for, you know, I'd say at least 35,000, and then down to 1,200 and down to 1,000 feet respectively. So now we're at the project height. Let's go ahead and make sure we don't disengage the autopilot by accident first of all. And it's very hard to see the autopilot lights actually with the sun glare like that right in the way. There's no way of seeing that properly. You can just about see the illumination, but it's not bright. It's not very bright at all. Okay, 39,000. Let's reduce to cruise thrust, and this allows the speed to build up naturally. Yet again, forgot one of the crucial steps in the citation or any airplane like my air, so we're above transition altitude. Should have set standard pressure, that's my mistake. Just maybe we were flying 100 feet or so more than we should be. Easy enough to correct, see we're already back to about 39,000. As you notice, the cruise setting is available. We've got it as close to cruise as possible, but when you're in the cruise setting, it usually overspeeds the aircraft most of the times, and there doesn't seem to be any way to alternate position of the blue markers there, so you can't really change the N1 setting for cruise there, which is a shame. So the aircraft determines the N1 setting, which is usually very, very inaccurate. Just felt the need to say that, you know, potentially something that could be fixed in the future. Although, again, it's a realistically designed aircraft, so it's probably what it is in real life. And the pilots have the discretion where to set their thrust, of course, because there's no auto thrust setting. One function that doesn't work, there's no IRS thing here, it just does it automatic, which is it's good, but it would be cool to have it there, to have that option. To add the realism, it's usually down here, probably without blank spaces. And then we have things like this, increase friction, decrease friction. Here we can't change that at all. So there are a few things non-functional in the cockpit, but most of it works. You know, it does what it's meant to do for the simulator purposes. I'm going to leave you to it again, so enjoy. This is your captain speaking, ladies and gentlemen. Just a mid-flight check-in with the crew and with yourselves. So far the flight's going well with no issues whatsoever. We are currently cruising at 39,000 feet at 260 knots roughly, Mach 0.85. We are actually at minus 52 right now, and as you look out the window, nice orange glow to the sky, so sunset. The time in Ekaterinburg is 10 to 10 in the evening. We will arrive in darkness. We don't have much longer to go. We are halfway through the flight now. We will be entering Ekaterinburg airspace within the next 20 to 30, next 20 minutes, probably less, probably the next 10 minutes, next 5 minutes. We'll be entering the Ekaterinburg airspace, and we hope you've enjoyed flying with us today. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the flight, and hope to see you next time as well. Quick run through the arrival procedures. Begma 6 Mike, Beg 6 Mike. Arrival to runway 26 right. LS frequency I think is 110.50. Local Q&A 0997 according to Simply Flight Plan. We'll check it when we get there closer just to confirm. There's no ATC available. We've been entirely Unicom yet again throughout the flight. We are in fact in Ekaterinburg airspace, as I said, and we've passed quite a lot of famous airports on the way. You know, Sovietsky Airport there, and then up north we went past. They've gone off the map now, but we did go past them, and there's you know, various airports off the left and right, and then down here we have UUYW. Would be similar word to Ural, in the Ural Mountains, and then Tumen. So we're in a Ekaterinburg area control now, I believe. And then I hope I'm pronouncing it Tumen area control off to the right. 60,000 feet, so quite credible. So they obviously control military aircraft as well. But then you have to wonder what happens in aircraft above 60,000. Anyway, we're getting off track. Let's go for the arrival. Let's make sure we got it programmed in. So I did give an announcement just before to say we were about halfway through. I'm not sure how accurate that is. So stream so far has been going about 1 hour 17 minutes. I think we took off after 25 minutes. So yeah, we've been flying about 45 in total, coming on 50 minutes. Yeah, up to 50 minutes, and then I can't give an estimation how long it's going to be until we get there. Yes, if we were, you know, doing a 2-hour flight, or we were on time things, it would probably be 2 hours, so another 40 minutes. But I think we'll be there in the next half an hour. Just have to keep an eye out. I can always check that sim and just check the progress on there. Just keep an eye on our speed as well, because it's dropping a little bit low. So obviously as expected, we're the only person here. We are actually pretty close now. We've gone over halfway. We're 3/4 of the way there, so we've got a quarter of the length to go. In terms of airspace, there's not many people. I mean, there's plenty of planes flying in Russia. There's just not as many as Europe, of course. That's probably due to the airspace things, and because people want to fly realistically, of course. Although last night I found myself doing, you know, if you've ever gone on a flight sim, you'll do flights for leisure. I did a 737 flight from Warsaw to Minsk. That was quite interesting, about an hour and a half in total, so I'll probably do that. I might do that on Friday. Just a little bit different. Minsk, Warsaw to Minsk, very good flight, no issues at all. Seems like there might be more luck there with the airspace. Anyway, going back to Russia, there's not many airplanes here. There's loads of Moscow and St. Petersburg as expected. We do actually have a controller at Kazan, which is surprising. We've got aircraft at Ekaterinburg Airport, but no ATC available. So it's showing 3 aircraft at the airport. Double check the right runway, so it's given us 26 right. And sim brief, well, I did just read something in the flight plan PDF that said 26 right was closed, off limits or something, so we might be arriving 26 left. So Q-night just changed. I had it 997, it's gone down to 996 now. It's slightly lower. 150 at 3 miles an hour for the wind. Visibility pretty much unlimited, 6,000 meters. Okay, I've just watched the map on the VAS sim. It seems like someone's just taxied across down 08 right across 26 right. So it looks like they actually landed in the opposite way to the flight plan. We'll just base it on wind when we get there. We should really give them a call. Might even type it in chat, because when you go onto the VAS sim radar, it's not very clear what runway is taken off and landing unless you've got the ATIS information. You would think with wind at 190 at 5 miles per hour that it would be 26 for the landing. So it's saying 08 left. I'm going to give them a message on Unicom, see if anyone's at the airport. I know there's people there, but I'll see if they give me a message back to let me know the actual runway. The information is a bit contradictory. It's not clear either what runway is active on that. It just says runway 08 left, but we've got the opposite runway programmed. Not long to get there, we'll have to start our descent soon anyway. Very soon, because we're very close. Let's just check the map, make sure our top of descent. So top descent is up at Bibli. We have a good amount of time, so we've got, how many got? 1, 2, 3, 4. About 4 waypoints until Bibli, at which point we'll descend. Don't see, we just go straight down to 12,000 feet. Yeah, 12,000 feet in preparation for the landing. I think that descent's going to be a bit late because that's very close to the airport. Anyway, give me a second to send the message on Unicom. Scratch that, I'm just going to skip it and we'll wait till we get close to the airport and hope that we see somebody else landing or taking off. I'm going to keep my eye on the Latvian radar just to see what's going on at the airport. So we've got someone lining up on 08 left by the looks of it. So yeah, the runway's definitely changed directions. Seems like 08 left is departure and then 08 right for London. Strange, very strange. Let's see whether Begma 6 mic can be used versus 08 right. Let's go ahead and program it. Navigation arrival. They don't have an ILS. I cannot see an. Oh yeah, we got an ILS for left. We got one for right. ILS whiskey. X-ray Yankee or Zulu. I don't know what, because we'd have the information ATIS to give us that. It's a bit of a pain actually. You don't have ATIS, you kind of miss out on crucial information, you know, and you can end up landing like I was gonna on the wrong runway, and it just causes huge inconveniences for the pilots. We'll just select the first one. Whiskey. Well then again, let's go back to standard arrival procedure. Let's select the one we've got programmed, so I don't know why it's got Barrow 6 November, it's supposed to be Begma 6 Mike. This one down here, it's saying 08 left for arrival. So we must be doing Beg 6 November arrival, because it's, yeah, there's definitely nobody landing on 26. Let's just select 08 right. So we change the arrival. Here we go. Double check the map. Can't quite see it, but we're, you know, getting there now. Not long till arrival. Welcome. Привет. Всем. Добро пожаловать на мой канал YouTube. Сегодня мы летим в Ekaterinburg. I'm that's about as much Russian as I'm going to try in the stream, so more than welcome to criticise that in the chat as well. you're watching this on replay, which seems to be the case for most people. Don't forget to leave comments in the box below. Feedback on landing, takeoff, any notes about the flying, any notes about the actual operation of the aircraft are more than welcome, especially if you're a real citation pilot. I know there's plenty of them on YouTube who do a fantastic job, so well done. Been flying for about 1 hour 29, about an hour and a half total on the stream. 1 hour 39, 1 hour 30 online as well, meaning we've been in the aircraft for an hour and a half. We have 20 minutes to go until London, so ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats, please keep your chairs in upright position, fasten your seatbelts and remain seated for the duration of the landing. Once we touch down, you'll please be asked to stay in your seats until we reach a safe parking bay, excuse me, in Ekaterinburg. We hope you enjoy your flight with us and your holiday in Ekaterinburg, of course. Welcome back to the Trans-Siberian Airways Express. I've just checked the iOS, right brake failure. That's new, I didn't set this up, so we've had a brake failure on the right hand side. So it's a good idea to check our instructor operating station because it will come up with a favours list there. If I hadn't have checked it, we would have been literally left in the dark. We may be veering off to the side. We need maximum braking for landing as well, so we may be a bit screwed. Current local time now, as you can see, is 12 minutes past 10. It's 3 hours, 4 hours ahead of United Kingdom time, GMT, or Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, so right brake failure. I don't think there's any way to tell. I'm not surprised though. We have been minus 49 for the majority of the journey, and the radiator heat, or the pitot 2B, if you like, is at minus 15. So I'm not surprised. We may have to recharge the system with hydraulics. We may have to dump the system as well to get that power back into the brakes, but that's very, very dangerous. If we depressurize the hydraulics at this altitude, we lose all control of the aircraft. And I don't fancy waiting for it to recharge, so just going through all the stats on the engine. Minus 23 degrees, very cold. Sorry, in the tank, and then engine is 25 degrees, so not too bad. So it's the tank I'm worried about, and the fuel flow. We have an interruption in fuel flow, obviously we experience an engine failure. In terms of ampage, we're producing enough DC amps and volts, electrics. Fuel quantity is good, as you can see. We've got good fuel flow and quantity up there. Controls are doing well. Engine. So we have FADEC. For what FADEC does is it controls the aircraft to make sure aircraft engines, so you don't overspeed them or overpower them, should I say, and cause them to fail and set on fire, etc. So FADEC is for engine control. That's about it, really. Top of descent inbound, Bibli is 22 nautical miles. Top of descent before Ekera, down to 12,000 feet. You notice I dim the cabin lights. We are coming in in the dark, so we'll have to keep an eye on our vision. Seatbelt signs on. People can remain in the seat for now until we get ground. Thank you very much. So some rough weather at Ekaterinburg. You can just about make off the weather at the side of the map there. If I drag it out, you can just see it. So down here we got some potential issues. This is where the airport is. This aircraft here just departed from Ekaterinburg. Seems to be right over the airport location. Fingers crossed we don't get any thunderstorms. You can already tell though, looking at the window, obviously aside from being dark, you can see there's plenty of clouds covering the area. And a simple way to check that is just go onto your map. Don't have next shot, but click clouds, and you can see we're flying above them at the moment. But when we come down, we're going to encounter that and a bit of turbulence, no doubt. It is looking pretty clear down there, though. It's just got clouds at the moment. incredible view out the rear window there. Of course, the engines. No ice build up. You would notice on the rim here, the metal, you would see an ice build if it was there. It's probably there, no doubt. It's just not as significant as we would expect, since the heat is on and there's a bit of wind flex. Look at the graphics though. It looks really good at 60 FPS. I don't think you need any more than that. Yeah. Of course, cabin lights come on automatic because the master switch is on. Right, top of descent is inbound. Let's just double check the map one more time. I don't know what that landing is. I think the blue line is obviously the go round. The white line is the approach, but I can't see it on the actual thing. It seems to be going like perhaps round downwind to the runway. It'd be really cool actually. One feature I'd like to see in this game, or flight sim, whatever you want to call it, is the ability to see the flight plan on the map. So you click the map, you've got to see the line, your flight plan waypoints. The airport is down here, it's just a good distance away still. I'm slowing down now. When we descend, it's going to be quite quick, and it'll slow down to about 250. I'm going to go all the way down to 8,000 feet. Quite rapid descent. Seatbelt signs are on. Don't have a checklist in this aircraft, but I have general sort of knowledge about aircraft in general, so I think you can apply the same checklist to all aircraft really. Almost. Okay, there's the descent. I'm using that throttle right down. Do it manually with my hand rather than my control. Right down for the throttles. Just bear in mind I'm using an Xbox controller. Key configuration has been done by myself. You will have to configure your remote control when you plug it in. Don't expect it to work straight away. At the moment I'm using the B button for deceleration. Very handy if you've ever played a racing game. It's not the same. Usually we'd accelerate with the triggers, but we use the X and B button for the gear, so I guess it's related to the engine, so it's still very useful. Don't use the levers for it. They're probably better off using them for rudder and things. As I say, steep descent. We need to get down to the airport, so let's idle the engines. There we go. And since we're already below 250, we could in fact deploy the speed brakes a bit, just to slow us down even more. Increase that descent rate. Double check the ILS. I'm waiting for the, of course, you know, the ILS frequency to pop up. Just about see it. This is saying Koltsovo. Don't worry, that's Ekaterinburg. It's just called a different name. Again, a bit of a stormy weather there by the looks of it. Okay, there's no option to change the speed, it's following the VNAV speed. Well, we are descending right now because even on the FMC it's saying 8,000, which is what we set the altitude to. So it's probably going to go, it's probably assuming we're going straight to Begma. Let's just change that before we forget. It's got a D there randomly. If the approach is skewy at the end, it looks like maybe one of those convoluted back and forth things. We may have to change it again, and there's a D. Do I delete it? DSS002, and then to final, 2,400 feet. yeah, by the time we get to Begma, we're going to be at 8,000 easily. Okay, so you'll notice it's changed from Mach to airspeed, maintain 270. We can either do that, you know, with throttle or with descent rate, or a combination of both. I'm going to keep the anti-ice on the whole way, probably need it on landing as well. If you are new here, you'll notice that we're doing more flights in the Citation X, which we will continue to do in the future. We're not safe enough to lower the cabin altitude, still at 30,000 feet. I'm going to put some more speed in, we're going a little bit too slow there. Cabin temperature is good, so cabin altitude, as I said before, it would be between 7,000 and 8,000, which is standard on all pressurized planes, like mostly the jets, that is. We don't need to decrease yet. When we do need to decrease, I'll do it very, very slowly. Well, we'll do a cabin dump when we're lower down, probably about 10,000 feet. Make sure you depressurize the aircraft on landing, before landing, as is standard operating procedure on the simulator, that is. Don't follow this for the real world operation. Okay, the aircraft just decided to suddenly start descending a little bit steeper. Probably to get up to 270 again. Don't know why we had to wait to get to that waypoint though to do that. Very strange. Now the airport is indeed in sight. Let's just double check the ILS frequency for 08 right. I've assumed that people are landing 08 right and taking off 08 left, so that's sort of the logic we're using on this. Can't get a clear answer on the actual Vatsu network because there's no ATC available. And we're next to Aramil, the airport at Ekaterinburg. It's called Koltsovo. And the ICAO is USSS. Let's program this in, so 109.9. We got another failure on this possibly. We've got temporary 1 has gone to that number for some reason. So 109.9 for the co-pilot as well. Let's not miss anything off of the list. Sound of the engines as well, we're going a bit slow on this descent. I'll get the speed brakes out. Stops to slow the plane a bit more so we can get down faster. Don't want to miss the runway. Don't want to miss the approach. So the actual X-Plane 12 is given us 08 left and 08 right for arrivals as well. So it's changed on here. Probably just the wind direction that's causing the difference. And that airborne extras is very, very small. Doesn't look like it's used. There we are, we're coming down now. We are in the airspace officially, so we should probably start to perhaps get some slats down and flaps. I'll put the slats down because we're going to slow down to 250. Hopefully. Still got 270 on the vertical navigation. That's probably just a descent speed. When we level off it will go down to 250 hopefully. It seems like it wants to go that way and then do a U-turn, so that's not convenient at all. We really could do with a proper approach procedure. You know what the missed approach is, we'll go up to saying 6,000 feet there. Bit contradictory information, so 2,900, 2,700. Let's just go down to 2,400 for the final as it says. We'll figure this out when we get there. Bear in mind the right brakes did fail for some reason. They may have failed on takeoff, may have failed during flight. Certainly we're working on departure. So as expected, I think it's making us fly the actual runway across the top of the runway, and they make a U-turn, which doesn't make sense. Let's try and get another arrival quickly. Maybe it's a different approach. 6th November. It's taking us a little bit further out. I'm going to go from beggar straight to final. This is too risky otherwise. Let's do that. So we'll go down to 3,000 feet. For some reason we've been told on the FMC to speed up to 350. Incorrect. Change it for some reason. Begma 408. Can't even change that. 250. Uh-oh. Looks like we're a bit screwed there. Performance plan is a bit ballsed up. Performance data, I don't really know how to change it either. I have had success in the past just entering a different speed, but for some reason it isn't working. It's just either the engines like the aircraft know. Change the vertical navigation. Now clear play that I've changed a bit more success. I'll maintain to 230. At least this will take us, you know, not directly over the runway. That turn at the end there's a more achievable, I'd say. So we're definitely initiating the landing procedure. So we'll put 5 degrees of flaps. Double check the map. Yeah, so that's a little bit more realistic. So otherwise we were going to come straight down this Begma route, fly over the runway and somehow do a 180 turn. It's just not possible. So we'll go down here to Lebla. As you can see, it doesn't come up on there. We'll most likely go past Lebla, down to the final. As you can see, FF08 right. Another aircraft in the vicinity landing. We've got aircraft the actual airport. Not a problem though. One aircraft there pushing back as well. Landing lights can come on. Okay, it's at 0 degrees now. I'm going to turn the heat up. I'll keep the engine anti-ice on for the time being. Just wondering if you should keep that hydraulic pump off or on because the brakes have failed. And what is that ahead? We have a massive city. Incredibly, it's actually materialised. It's, you know, not just been models, it's actually there to see, so that's brilliant. Looks incredible at night as well. I mean, look at it. Just about to see it through the dim clouds. Yeah, massive. Massive city. Seems to be mostly office buildings, possibly apartments. Maybe it's a bit more of a municipal municipal city or town. You've got laminar research at the back. And something else called cow flaps. That's the thing on the plane, on one of the planes. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked, so let's give the Unicom a call. Ekaterinburg traffic, this is Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. I'm inbound to land for runway 08 right. Yeah, amazing looking city. This, I didn't realise how big it was. But the airport's off to the left, so you can see it. We're on track for a good landing. Let's make sure our speed's in the correct zone. So 230, let's slow down to 220. Nice slow descent right there, and we'll go down to 2,400. Landing lights are on, flaps are set to 5. No need to arm there's no arm on the speed brake unless we just pull it up when we get down. Yeah, really impressed with the scenery. I have to come back here in the light and do a daytime flight in the Cessna or something. You see all the old buildings at the front. Yeah, so very well modelled. Probably all kin with Moscow in terms of its detail. I'm gonna screenshot it. I'll have to think of I'll have to try and figure out what the quick command is for screenshot. We'll get that tuned in. Let's reduce our speed. I was gonna say I was gonna extend this and then just. It still seems too steep. Let's bring that speed down to 180 in preparation for the turn. 15 degrees of flaps. This is gonna be a short one. Indeed. Just double check. You see they got an aircraft. I'm assuming he's going to go to 08 left for departure. If he doesn't, let's hope he gives an ATC call out on Unicom or something, because nobody's saying anything at the moment.
Traffic, good evening, Siberian 765, pushback and start up, stand number 13.
Okay, great. So we got Speedbird 1765 just gave his call up for startup. Fantastic to see somebody using the ATC. Speedberg is the abbreviation or the call sign for British Airways, of course. Very strange to see it in Russia. So Q8 995, let's set it now. Very low pressure, indeed. He gave the call out for startup, so hopefully his friend gives a call out for departure. If not, we're going to have to just assume he's clear of the runway. So we're at 180, that's fine. Level enough. When we go on final, I'll do the ILS approach. It's going to be a very tricky challenge this to turn in time. I'd be surprised if the Citation can do it. And get back on track, and then from final to as long as we've got time from final to the runway, that's all that matters. We've got a good 6 miles to get to the final anyway. Well, 3 miles more. Okay, I think that means he's departing runway 8 left, or holding short. That's good, unless he's going to 08 right. Oh, I don't know. I'm overthinking the situation. The runways are in front of us. Let's hope we get lined up on time. They're different directions. I think we're in the completely wrong direction here for 08 right. He's feel free to take off, of course, on 08 left if he wants to. Okay, I've just clicked the wrong thing there, but it still could take us to final. Just slightly off to the right, you can see the airport and the runway. You can see the other aircraft actually holding short the flashing lights he's taxiing on. Seems like he's taxiing across to 08 right, which is a pain. No, he's 08 left, so his plane's all over the place. I don't know what he's doing. He's kind of holding short, like right on the runway though. Let's prepare for landing. Let's do the navigation. We got the ILS frequency. Double check it. 08 right. 109.9. I'm going to keep that open so you can see we're almost on the approach. Glide slope. Select approach. Ekaterinburg traffic, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. I am currently 7 nautical miles out for final runway 08 right. That's actually incorrect. Oh yeah, sorry, that is correct. It just sounds like a lot longer when you say it. Yeah, 7 miles from final. ETA 2 minutes at the absolute max. There's the glide slope. Let's get the anti-ice off the engines. 4.5 nautical miles, so full flaps will slow down to landing speed. Let's double check our reference. 119. Gear down. No aircraft's departed. He didn't. Maybe he did give us his departure clearance in the ATC. We're cleared to land because the runway's there. Very handy to know they're not facing the same direction then. And we've got a bloke there landing full landing lights on the taxiway. Funny.
So the traffic Siberian C765 takes it hope on runway 08 left, fly clear and
What an amazing view of the city. Incredible. Very impressed with it. Let's get the autopilot off. Just make sure we got control of the aircraft. We have control. Make sure we're pitching correctly. So the glide slope's quite high up on this. You'll see we're already too low and we've barely started to descend towards the runway. Night landing is always going to be considerably difficult, so hold it steady, don't panic. Follow the puppy lights to the best of your ability. There's a bit of crosswind as well. Strong crosswind. Keep an eye on the green arrow, but it's not the main path you should follow. Okay.
100.
Come on, brakes.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, there's touchdown just about. Full flaps. Sorry, full reverses. Really bumpy on touchdown. We're not going to use brakes because one of them's failed. I did just try it then, it sort of veers off to the left hand side as expected. Okay. Just in time for the taxiway, so disengage reversers, we're going to stow them. I'm going to turn off here. Brilliant. That was a fantastic landing. And welcome to Ekaterinburg, everybody. Ekaterinburg, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm going to go ahead and taxi towards parking. Let's get our taxi lights and things on and landing lights off. So taxi lights, we didn't turn the engine sync off, but that's probably not the biggest sin in the world, is it? Keep an eye out for other traffic. Let's just try and hold short here a second so we can sort out. And indeed there is in fact a wet runway. We just skid a little bit. Completely forgot brakes weren't working either. Okay, so we're APU. We didn't depressurise the aircraft. There's a few things I missed. You know, not the end of the world though. It did depressurise naturally, so we'll click cabin dump, make sure it actually gets rid of all the pressure in the system. Ekaterinburg traffic, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. I am clear of runway 08 right. I'm going to cross 08 left in a second. Okay, generator and bleed air on. Let's isolate that from the engines. Let's isolate the pressurization system. We can stick the pitot heats on. Window heats can stay on, but pitot heat can come off. Don't need windshield there anymore. I'm good to taxi to the stand.
Koltsovo traffic, Siberian 765 line up runway 08 left and wait.
Okay, courtesy call there by the pilot, very good indeed. That means I'm clear to cross the runway as I stated, and once I've done that I'll give him an announcement I've cleared the runway. So he's free to taxi to obviously take off then. Fantastic. Let's find a good space. We don't need a jetway, we're only a bit small plane, so we've got general aviation here somewhere, probably off to the right. Yeah, I think over to the right is our best bet. Ekaterinburg traffic, Charlie 22 Foxtrot Tango. I have cleared runway 8 left and taxiing to parking. Let's follow this around. Let's go as slow as possible so you don't skid. Smaller jets around here, we'll be able to park here.
Siberian 765, take off runway 08 left.
Счастливый в beauty. I believe it is. Well, happy travels. Okay, taxi light line has come to an end here. I don't think that's the taxiway anymore. I'm gonna park up here. I don't care if this isn't correct parking. We need a parking space, so we get a parking ticket as well. Not the best parking. He's taking off in the background. There he goes. That's good, Andrew. And we forgot the strobe lights, so a few mistakes I think you can be forgiven. Please join me on the next flight regardless of the mishaps. Just standard practice, I think, to make mistakes like that. So let's idle, cut off the engines if we can. There we go. So let's idle down. We can turn the beacon off. Signal signs off. Let's get the APU. The APU's on. Don't need to turn these off. We'll leave them on because the APU's on, so we'll let the air blow around the system. Standby power is engaged. Let's make sure you can see this. Passenger oxygen off. We don't need that anymore. Fuel pumps ignition off. Ignition. Fuel pumps. And fuel flow. Or control transfer. What a fantastic flight. I'm going to leave it in this state, pretty much ready for the next one. We didn't click day night, but you can change that. Ready for the next pilot crew. Leave the windshield heat on for them. I'm going to step out of the plane though. Allow the passengers to depart the aircraft. Cross ground service. So yeah, if you've enjoyed that flight, it's been very good. We started daytime, just to give you a summary. in the Citation X in Vorkuta. Very cold, very bumpy departure on the runway, it was like a roller coaster. We flew for about 2 hours to Ekaterinburg for a nice ILS landing runway 08 right. Weather was alright so far, we haven't had any major issues, we had a right brake failure. Yeah, very good flight, and I hope to see you all on the next one. Probably Ekaterinburg to suspect Chelyabinsk. It's going to be a short flight the next one, so I'll see you then. Take care.